Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon to get all the notifications from your Indian consumer. Your Indian consumer. Hey consumers, it's me Prasad with Pathak, your Indian consumer, back with another unboxing and review. Today we take a look at this action camera by SJCAM, which is named as the SJ7 Star. It is sent to us by Banggood.com. Banggood.com is an international e-commerce website, and you can see the camera being listed on this website for around 11,500 Indian rupees, which is nearly equal to 175 US dollars. You can see most of the details mentioned on the website along with the color variants available for this camera and some other interesting features which this camera comes along with, about which we'll definitely talk in this video. Well, if you want to buy this camera, the best buy link like always will be mentioned below in the description. Well, the shipping time for this camera will vary as per your country and location. You might also be charged extra custom duty based on your location. In India, I was charged 1250 rupees as customs duty. More information regarding the shipping you will get below in the description. Now let's quickly take a look at the box and the packaging of this camera. So that is how it will come packaged. Black, white and red colors complement each other. On the front you can see a 4K being mentioned at 30 frames per second. The camera, as you can see, is waterproof till 30 meters of depth. On the side of the box you can see the mention of an application which you can install on your mobile phone in order to remotely access this camera. Here below you can see a authenticity verification mark which will provide you a code. On entering that code on SJCAM's official website, you can verify the authenticity of your product, which is again a great initiative by SJCAM. On the other side of the box you will find pictures of all the mounts this camera comes along with. So these are all the mounts that you will find inside the box. On the back side you will find some technical specifications like the sensor used on this camera, etc, etc. You can always pause the video and read the details if you feel like. Now without any further ado, let's quickly jump into the box and see what all we get inside the box. So first and foremost, we have the camera itself. The camera is already placed inside a waterproof casing. This casing will allow you to use this camera for about 30 meters of depth of water. For time being, let's keep the camera aside and check out what all accessories and mounts we get inside the box. So as you can see here, surely this camera comes along with a lot of accessories and mounts. Let's take a look at them. You will find many other cameras in the market which do not provide you mounts, and then sadly you have to purchase all those mounts separately, but that is not the case with this camera. You get multiple mounts along with this one. Let's take a look at the user manual that you get along with this camera. So here you can see the features and the video resolutions available on this camera, information regarding the hardware and the physical know-how of the product. You will also find pictorial indications of all the mounts available. And now finally, let's take a closer look at the camera itself. So the first impression that you'll get as soon as you hold this camera in your hand is the build quality is really nice. And when I say nice, yes, it is really good. The front portion that you see is nice rubberized plastic. The edges and the complete casing is aluminum. On the bottom of the camera, you'll get the battery compartment. Let me just quickly remove the battery and let's check out how much mAh battery we get on this camera. So as you can see, the battery is 1000 mAh and we have tested it and will let you know the performance of the battery as the video proceeds. Now this battery has a completely new design when you compare it with other SJCAMs, and so you won't be able to interchange the batteries if you have any other SJCAM product, which I feel is a downside. On the sides you can see Wi-Fi being mentioned, and definitely we'll be connecting this camera using Wi-Fi. On the top you will find a shutter button and the speaker grill. On the other side you will find a mini USB port, a HDMI port and a micro USB card slot. Now let's take a look at the provided mounts. So the plastic quality of the mounts is really nice. The camera is definitely built well and the mounting parts surely complement to its quality. But what about the user interface on this camera? Is it any good? Let's check it out as well. The 2-inch LCD touchscreen on this camera is fairly decent. Let's quickly jump into the settings by pressing this hardware button available. So this is how the setting menu looks like. Let's enter the video resolution option. So these are all the available video resolutions. As you can see here, the highest available resolution being 4K at 30 frames per second. You can also record 2K videos at 60 frames per second, 1080p Full HD videos at 120 frames per second, and 720 videos and 720p videos at 240 frames per second. Let's quickly jump back and see other settings. Then we have the FOV, which can be adjusted from wide, medium and narrow. We'll keep it wide for time being. The next option available is the slow motion video. The slow motion option is active on select video resolutions. Now this camera also comes along with a gyro sensor which provides great stabilization, but that feature is only available till 1080p 60 frames per second of video resolution, which again I feel is a downside. This camera also comes with the motion detection option, which is a nice thing. You can stamp your video with date and time, which is again good. You have options like time-lapse, loop recording, car DV. You can even adjust the microphone volume. You can adjust the sharpness, the white balance, EV value, ISO, and metering. Let's quickly jump into the other setting option. Here you'll find some other settings. I won't bore you much and we'll rush through these settings quickly. You can adjust the light frequency based on the electricity frequency available in your area, which can be 50 Hz or 60 Hz depending on your location. Many other settings available along with the Wi-Fi settings. And finally at the bottom we can see the firmware on this camera. Out of the box you won't get the latest firmware, but it is really simple to update the firmware on this camera. All you have to do is go on the official website of SJCAMS. The link is provided below in the description. There if you go in the support section, you will find the verify SJCAM section along with update your camera option. So once you click onto the update camera option, you can select your camera, which is the SJCAM SJ7 star, and you'll finally land on this page which step by step shows you how exactly you need to update the firmware. Let's quickly get back to the user interface. So as you can see, you can slide right and left to switch between video and photo options. If you slide up, this menu will pop up which shows capture, self-timer, photo burst, record, video lapse and photo lapse option. Video lapse is what I feel most of the videographers will be interested in. So as you can see, this is the time lapse option which will record the video at 4K resolution at 30 frames per second. If you slide down, you will get into this menu from where you can check out all the photos which you have captured. Again, I have to mention the user interface is really good. As you can see, now I've jumped into the video section. Let me just quickly play one of the videos. So as you can see, viewing the videos and all the media captured on this device is again very simple. The third option available in the menu is this remote control option. Using this feature, you can connect your camera with a remote controlling device which is available in the form of a wristwear or a selfie stick. Both the links for the products will be mentioned below in the description. Using that remote controller, you can access the camera and it is really handy. But if you don't have a remote controller, you can definitely connect your camera with your mobile phone using Wi-Fi feature, which I'm doing right now. As you can see, the Wi-Fi option is on there, or you can simply press the shutter button to turn the Wi-Fi feature on. Once you have the Wi-Fi turned on the camera, all you have to do is install this application called as the SJCAM Zone on your mobile phone. The link for the application too you will get below in the description. Once you open the application, this is how the application will look like. It is really simple to pair the camera using this application. Once you have paired the camera, you can remotely access it the way I'm doing it right now in the video. As you can see, video, photo, time-lapse and photo lapse options are available. But not just that, you can adjust the settings using your cell phone itself. So you can simply jump into the settings and adjust all the settings of the camera. Now this feature will be really handy when you will have your camera inside a waterproof case, or if you don't feel like removing the camera out of the casing. So this is the feature which will help you that time. You can also view your photos and videos using this remote application. The only downside which we observed was you can delete a particular media file, but you cannot save it on your mobile phone, which is a strange thing. Now let's talk about the provided accessories and mounts. Now we tried all the accessories and each and every mount, and all the mounts fit the camera perfectly fine. 2 waterproof backlids are provided along with the waterproof casing. The one which you see right now on the screen is for shallow diving, and using this casing, you can operate the touchscreen of the camera while the camera is inside the casing. Although it does not allow you to operate the camera that fluently as you can see in the video right now, it is really difficult to touch using this waterproof casing. But yes, it can get the job done after some hard tapping. But that can be a pain. Now let's get into the most interesting part, which is the video test of this camera. So right now I'm outdoors recording at 1080p full HD at 60 frames per second. Well, this camera is capable of shooting 4K videos at 30 frames per second, 2K videos at 60 frames per second and 1080p videos at 120 frames per second. You can even take slow motion shots. The audio you're listening to right now is also being recorded using the internal microphone on this camera. I'm holding the camera at an arm's length and I have the gyro stabilization on, so you can get an idea about the stability on this camera. Now let's test the audio when the conditions are not so very silent. Let's do a traffic test. Even the audio has been recorded using the internal microphone on this camera, so you can get an idea. Note, the audio from here is not recorded using the internal microphone. Right now I have the gyro stabilization on and I've mounted the camera on the dashboard of my car. Let's quickly see a time-lapse shot. So this is a 4K time-lapse recorded at 30 frames per second. Some more random video clips which will give you an idea of the saturation, the dynamic range of this camera, minimum focusing distance and the wide angle on this camera. Some more time lapses. Now let's quickly do an underwater shot. Alright, so if I have to sum it up, there are some pros which need to be mentioned along with some cons which cannot be ignored. Starting with the pros, first of all, the build quality. I really like the build quality on this camera. Secondly, the combination of this processor along with the image sensor is definitely yielding some really nice results. Thirdly, the battery life on this camera is again decent. It will easily last you a complete day with moderate usage. You will find this camera to be a bit pricey compared to its competitors, but needless to mention, it comes with the credibility of SJCAM, which offer you a 1-year warranty, which is again a nice thing. Talking about cons, the first will be the absence of a tripod mounting screw hole, which I don't know why SJCAM has not provided on this device. Secondly, the camera comes with an ancient mini USB port. I would have liked to see a micro USB port on this one. We expected a USB 3.2 this time, which would have made the data transfer really fast. Sometimes we found the camera to struggle with the sharpness of the footage, especially at higher frame rates, but surprisingly the sharpness struggle vanished as soon as we rendered the footage. Another con being the low light performance on this camera, which is really mediocre. And finally, we observed the camera to heat a lot. The aluminum body of the device gets really heated up, especially when you're recording 4K videos. I hope a future firmware update can take care of that. Well, that was our take on this device. All the necessary links are provided below in the description. If you have liked this video, definitely give it a thumbs up. If you have not liked it, don't be shy to dislike it. And if you have not subscribed to our channel yet, do hit the subscribe button and be a part of the Indian Consumer family. Well, for now, this was Prasad with Pathak, your Indian Consumer, signing off, and I'll see you in the next one. Till then, do remember to serve before you swipe, and if you don't need, you don't buy. Bye bye.